Crypto has been making major pushes to the downside. Ethereum here had a really strong downslope on the EMA, and as I'm always explaining, between the short and medium term EMA is where the highest likelihood of price is going to reject. We got that rejection in this area, pushing over 7% to the downside. We scroll out and look at the long-term chart for Bitcoin. We're still in a really strong push to the upside in this area. We still have the uptrend in the EMA, but we are beginning to now tick to the downside. Is the overall Bitcoin trend over, or can we continue the long-term trend to the upside and potentially push into that $100,000 plus level for Bitcoin? I'm also going to go over the latest in crypto news, so make sure you're watching until the end of the video. Make sure to smash the like, subscribe, leave a comment, and tap that notification bell. Plus, check out my trading masterclass that's currently 50% off, priced in this video description. Let's start off with going over some really interesting crypto news. When you look at all the Bitcoin volume transacted since November 2020, it becomes clear why price stopped where it did. The block of volume past 28,900 is still a massive brick wall. On the flip side, it makes sense why Bitcoin would be bouncing inside the current range of 24 to 29K. So this is basically volume displayed at price. So rather than having volume where it's along the bottom, you actually have volume displayed on the vertical chart, and it actually shows you where the volume is actually situated. So you can see there's high volume bars at this $40,000 level, $37,000, $33,000, and $30,000 level. There's not much volume between this $24,000 to $27,000 level, and it makes sense why price can easily jump between these prices. We quickly jump to the upside, we quickly jump to the downside. Reason being is there's not a lot of volume in these prices. And you can see what actually happens. We actually come into a resistance block here because we've got a lot of transactions here actually set in the market that when price reaches this, have actually got their stop order set in the market looking to get out of their trade. And that's exactly what happened. We came into a high volume bar right in this area, and what happened? We got major pushes to the downside. Reason being, people had stop volumes in that area, and you can actually see volume showed as an actual displayed as price. You can even see we're getting less volume as we come higher in price. As we get up to this $80,000 level, there's not much volume in price. It also makes sense why there's a lot of volume down at this around $21,000 to $20,000 level for Bitcoin. Look, there's basically the most volume that we're going to have is right in this block here at around that $20,000 Bitcoin level. So overall, we're now in that $26,000 level range for Bitcoin. Makes sense if we do come down, have a bit of a push into 24,000. We might even push through 24,000 and push into this $21,000 range. But below that is really very hard for Bitcoin to actually push below, because there's going to be a lot of volume coming in for Bitcoin. So actually looking at where resistance and where support is going to be, it makes a lot of sense that there's a resistance block up here. It also makes a lot of sense that there's a support block up here. So use that information as you will, but it is very, very interesting and can really, really help you in your trading. So next, Bitcoin USD Bitcoin price. Overall, we're actually looking at this long-term trend. This isn't unfortunately in English, but what it's actually saying is it's actually looking at, once we get some breaks above what this actual red line is the 50 simple moving average. So in a lot of my videos, I'm showing the 20 exponential moving average. This is just the simple moving average. You can see we're actually potentially coming here as a support level currently, using this 50 simple moving average as a support zone. We've done something very similar back here in this level, done something similar back here. You can see how we broke below. Then in this level, we got a break above. We then used it as a bit of support level. We did get a break below, but that was sort of a black swan event because it was some major news. So potentially doing a very similar thing like we've done in the past. Also moving on August 16th, crypto Twitter was swamped with posts with the hash ribbons buy for Bitcoin. Since then, Bitcoin has dropped 10%. It is important to consider seasonality and how Bitcoin has always made this move down in every Q3 of pre-halving events. So we can overall see just some simple exponential moving averages. As it's always talking about, it's important to consider seasonality and how Bitcoin has made this move down in every Q3 of pre-halving. So we had the halving event in 2020, and it's talking about the Q3 pre-halving. We're having this halving event coming in 2024. This is Q3 of that pre-halving event. Very similar here. We had the halving event in 2016. We're having it in Q3 pre of halving. So it's always talking about this, and you can see what actually happens. We do get a sell-off in this area right before we get major pumps to the downside. In this area, we did get a bit of a sell-off before we got major push to the upside. Right in this area, did get a bit of a sell-off, and look what's happening now. We are beginning to have a bit of a sell-off, beginning that 10 to 20% sell-off, but that is going to be the beginning of actually that major push to the upside. So really, my goal now is that any spare cash that I'm actually holding is to truly be purchasing and buying into crypto. So even coming overall, just looking at Ethereum, when we scroll out on the chart, we look at the overall exponential moving average, we see that it is now sloping to the downside. Once it's sloping to the downside, I'm actually looking for touches in this value zone to continue the trend to the downside. And you can see that's exactly what's happened. Come into the value zone, we sold. We literally poked into the 20 EMA, we sold. We tried to poke in a couple more times. We've been stuck in this value zone, and then we literally collapsed to the downside. Didn't get a major push, but look, from this top area all the way down, we basically moved 7% to the downside. And if you're looking in a very short amount of time, in basically a 1-day trade, let's call it a 2-day trade, because if we put it there, it's hard to see. It's like 1 day, it's actually 13 hours. But overall, you can see in such a short amount of time, you can make such a fantastic trade on this chart. Just using the simple exponential moving average, look to trade once price comes back to the average price and look for a really solid push to the downside. The next region that we're really seeing is also we're in a bit of a symmetrical triangle. We got to this apex point. We then got a breakout after we reach that apex point. The next thing that we're actually coming out here is you can see we're actually retesting this apex point. I'm always teaching this in my trading course. Once we get this apex retest, we usually get a continuation of the trend, at least a small continuation. But overall, when we actually scroll out and look at the long-term chart, this is for Bitcoin, the last chart was for Ethereum, we still see that we've made major pushes to the upside. From this bottom here all the way to this top, we moved 100%, and we're still up at our current price 70%. So we have made about a 30% decline overall in the market. But one thing that I'm also noticing is price is failing to break to the upside. We're also failing to break to the downside. I'm expecting potentially a bit of a trading range where price actually bounces between these levels through here. We're actually failing to break to these lower levels. We fail to break to these upper levels. You can see why price actually rejected in this area. A lot of stops were actually in this level. Reason being is when we're actually making higher highs and we're making levels like this was actually a higher high. So every single time we push through and make a new higher high, this is where my swing low would be. Since we actually made a new higher high, this is where my swing low would be. And you can see what exactly happened. Price came right back, stopped a lot of people out, got out of their position, and then swung in the opposite direction. So right now, I do believe it's a bit of a stop hunt. As I showed you before in the crypto news, that overall, we're still looking at that Q3, the year before that halving event, and overall, we always have a sell-off in that area. So really, truly, I'm looking to get long into Bitcoin. I've already got a lot of my positions already holding, already deposited Ethereum. So it's actually funding my account, earning somewhere between 4% Ethereum every single year. It's like 4%. You're earning more than you are in interest. Plus, you have a massive potential in the market. Overall market is looking fantastic. These dips are truly for buying. That's what I'm doing. The overall market still looks very strong. I do truly believe that the overall market is not finished just yet. If you've enjoyed the video, smash a like, smash a subscribe, leave a comment, and tap that notification bell to continue watching my YouTube videos. Check out my trading masterclass in this video description and click the video on your screen right now if you want to continue watching my YouTube videos.